So, while it's like fresh in my mind, I'm gonna talk about the whole shooting that occurred recently. I'm gonna be very brief with this video. What can I really say, honestly? It's obviously bad. I mean, it's a shooting. But like, this is telling, really. I mean, we already knew something like this was gonna happen. I mean, like, the Buffalo shooting that occurred beforehand, we everybody knew that it wasn't going to be the last thing, and this isn't going to be the last thing either. Um, as we all know, this is obviously because Libs of TikTok. Because Libs of TikTok is one of the biggest prominent political figures that has been doing nothing, like literally nothing, but pointing fingers at drag events and spinning narratives about how they're sexualizing children and turning them into trans or something. All of it is really backwards and weird. And as a side note, like, even if they're showing sexual themes, I personally don't really think it's appropriate to be showing, because there are a few examples that Liz of TikTok has like put out there that's like, you know, that are a little bit too sexual, personally, for my taste, for a child to be watching. Well, let's not pretend that shit is like harmful to a child. Like, we can have a conversation about what's appropriate or what's not appropriate, but spinning a whole narrative about how it's harmful or destroying your kids or ruining their brains or whatever, it's ludicrous. And it goes to show that Libs of TikTok really is not interested in having a conversation about a topic such as this. I'm gonna say her name. Shia Raichik is only interested in my personal opinion, I think she's interested in clout more than anything else. I do think she is a believer, and to some degree, she is a believer of all of this shit. I think part of her I think she honestly just hates trans people just in general. I don't think she like believes that like it's really that much of an existential threat. I think she just generally hates them, and she also wants clout from all the narrative that she spins about the LGBT community. Like, look at how big her Twitter got. It's ginormous. And she will continue to post things as long as she keeps getting more engagement and positive feedback from her fans every time she posts this garbage. She is a huge mixture. Shia Raichik is a huge mixture of someone who hates LGBT people and someone who loves attention and clout. You put those two things together, and you have her laser focused on on LGBT people, you get a disaster. And personally, I don't think she really cares whether or not trans people like are being murdered by these radicalists. I personally don't think she cares. I think what she is more interested in is clout. And however many people dies as a result of the clout that she's getting, it's whatever, who cares? I already hate those degenerates anyway. And I'm also getting clout. It's a win-win for me. I'm Shia Raichik. I'm a piece of shit. But yeah, with her status and all of the lies that she keeps putting out there, I believe she started with the whole I believe she started with fear-mongering about critical race theory. And then when it was convenient for her to start fear-mongering about queer people, and she just mainly stuck with that, slipping in some anti-black rhetoric in between some of her fucking anti-queer propaganda. But I'm sorry, you know what? I'm gonna use extreme language. Ideologically, she's not too far off from the Nazis. Nazis were some of the greatest grifters of all time. Can we be real? How many of you guys think that Nazis believed half of the shit that they spewed in all of the propaganda that they were putting out during their time? in politics. I would say the majority of them did not believe any of the shit that they were saying. They were more interested in radicalizing people and getting them to believe just anything and pointing the blame at a random group of people. For them, it was the Jews, and also queers and socialists and, you know, black people, what have you. Pointing all their problems at that and make themselves out to be the answer to all of those problems. And it got them a lot of political power. And just a lot of power over Germany in general. That is like the biggest grift you can ever do. Tyre Rachik is doing the exact same thing. Only for her, she doesn't have to make herself the answer. She's already getting what she wants. Attention. Like, when you have an account with that many followers and engagement and all of this shit, all of this, you're already winning. Like, you don't have to make yourself the answer to the problems when you're already getting the benefits from pointing fingers at what these radicalists perceive to be the problem. And these radicalists, of course, are going to actually genuinely feel passionate about these ideas. They're going to explode. Because if you keep on telling people that this group is are full of pedophiles and groomers and less than human thing, yeah, she does do a lot of dehumanizing language in her tweets. All this dehumanizing language to talk about us like we're monsters and freaks and all this crazy shit. These people are gonna do something about it, especially when we're dehumanized enough to the point where, you know, it's just like hunting a bear in the forest. Only this bear is like attacking your kids. When in reality, the bear is just a teddy bear. It's fluffy and it's like sits there and doesn't really do anything. But you're gonna grab your 12-gauge shotgun and shoot it anyway. Yeah, this is really bad, man. I had to talk about it, but, you know, it's getting worse. It really is. On a positive note, I don't think this is the end. I agree with Zenderhall on this point. If you watched his video talking about how the right like always loses, I agree with him like on pretty much everything that he said there. Usually, especially now since we like pretty much stopped the red wave, I don't think this is gonna stop things from getting worse, because stopping the right electorally is a big win, but there's not much we can do about individual radicalists that want to take action, like the Proud Boys. So, and they feel more justified to actually like act outside of the law. They don't really give a shit. So like electoralism isn't really going to do much to stop them. You already know what I feel like you should be doing about that. Deploy the rock. But however, I don't think it's the end. I do think the right is just going to lose inevitably. Because to be honest with you, the majority of people in America are not like this. They're not like these psychotic. The majority of people who are on the right aren't like. The majority of conservatives aren't really like this. Not really. Like the majority of conservatives, I would argue, are actually pretty fucking moderate, but just right-leaning. Like they wouldn't like act. Maybe they believe the groomer narrative to a degree, but they probably don't feel like it's necessary to take violent action. Like I believe the super incredibly violent radicalists are in the minority. But even then, them being in a minority doesn't make them any less dangerous. The Nazi Party were a minority party. They were a very small group of people. But the thing that they had was like a lot of influence. Like even if you're The point is this. Violence is going to get worse as time continues. Especially because we're in America, and America is the Wild West. We have too many fucking guns. Republicans don't want to do anything about it, so now we have to act like it is what it is. Like I said before, we're already in the Wild West. Might as well arm yourself while you can, because the right's not going to do anything about it. They're getting paid. Democrats are too fucking weak to do anything about it as well. So this is what we've got. So most we can do is play the hand we're dealt. But the right will lose, because the moderates are not going to like, it's even the moderate conservatives are not going to like what these people are doing. They're not, and they probably already don't like it. The violence is going to rise. This is one of those that gets better before it gets worse type of scenarios, because it's going to explode a lot. It's going to be a lot of social unrest, and after all of it's concluded and said and done, the right is going to lose a lot of power because of it, and people are going to know who to blame for all the rising violence: the Republican Party. Think people are going to stick with the Republican Party after all of this shit goes down? No, sir. I already know of many conservatives who do not stand with the Republican Party. They're black conservatives. Black conservatives, on average, do not stand with the Republican Party. So I guarantee you there are certain Republicans who have, some conservatives who have some form of moral decency enough to understand that what Shia Raichik is doing, what the Republican Party is doing, what the radicalists they influence are doing. They know not to stand for that shit. They know that that's not good or productive. I believe like this explosion in radicalism is going to lead to the right's downfall. If Trump doesn't take them down first. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.